brother. It's we just to paint a picture for anybody that's going to be listening, because I haven't actually hit record on the camera. That's how good I am. We'll delve and do that in a second, but fuck it, I can edit all this together.
Great potential, great professionalism straight up.
I'll kiss my ass. But yeah, where are we right now, Gal?
We're sitting in your backyard, mate, in outskirts of Logan. Weber going to the right of us, and it's actually a cracking night.
It is absolutely beautiful.
It is. It's great.
So we've known each other quite a few years now. I was actually backdating this to myself and realised
2008 we played together.
Man, you know,
Haven't aged a bit, by the way.
oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'd kill another human for your head of hair. But yeah. So this is just a couple of mates who played footy together. The goal is to come up with a podcast about local footy legends.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things. It's so weird. I've become a comedian after being a journalist and all these other things, and it's weird working in offices in the media and in other organisations where legit the arts people mock anyone that loves sport.
Yeah, right.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these Neanderthals. Look at these.
Yeah.
And I'm in this office with Sharon, and I'm like, fuck you
Have
people.
you ever watched
like,
the show The Project? They do pretty much the whole fucking show.
And it's weird to go from growing up where in the Kimberley,
Nothing but sport.
sport.
Yeah.
That's how you get out. That's how you make a living. That's what you love.
Correct.
It's a great equalizer. Then to go into an office space and be told, hey,
Stop
People
talking
who
about that thing you love.
yeah,
Yep.
Isn't it so weird? So
It's crazy.
and so we're footy mates. We've known each other for a long time, and we're going to have a chat about it. Probably our favourite topic.
Yeah.
Where
Footy.
would footy rank for you?
Oh, it's probably my favourite thing to talk about. Probably the hardest thing. Obviously, we've both moved from WA to Queensland. I've been here for 5 years, and hardest thing over here is getting someone to talk to about AFL. I'm stuck talking NRL. I'll go to my mate's place to watch a footy. I'm bloody at ad breaks. I'm switching over to watch the AFL, and then they're making me switch back. So
Have you considered just changing over every time there's a try as well? Because there's like 40 minutes of replays.
yeah, and it's a
Then
shit sport. So
It's an
who
awful
cares?
sport.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we, both WA boys, we moved over to Queensland, this weird little
weird.
universe where we found ourselves talking shit. And God knows if anyone's going to listen to this, but we can't help but feel there are isolated people who don't get to talk to anybody about footy as intensely
Yeah,
as we want to.
That's
and
right.
and as we're capable of.
that's right.
And I don't know, man. I've pitched this idea to a few people based in Sydney, the media sort of people I've been talking about.
Yep.
And the idea of a podcast of two guys talking about their favourite sport.
Yeah.
What is why? And I'm like, all of my footy friends that I've told this idea to love it. They think it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, of course.
So that's where we're at. Again, that's where the concept of this whole thing came from. Gump, tell us how I came into possession of this particular machine that we are recording
Wow.
the podcast on. Because this is actually, you've probably owned this seed that's been
I
planted.
probably do, yeah. And to be honest, this is probably how a lot of stories are going to start if we continue with this podcast, and that is I was pissed. I had a massive argument with a couple of mates in the pub. Had a few skillies under the belt. We were talking arguments between AFL and NRL, and you know how good NRL is in the off season because that's the most entertaining time of the NRL.
Do you ever find, when it comes to that argument, that you've got your system down pat? You've got your...
I change it up every time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I mess with them heaps.
Really?
Yeah, it's more fun because it's the same guys I'm arguing with. So if you keep the same argument, it just goes round and round. So a lot of different things I throw at them. But yeah, so we're going flat out. I got home. I was a bit frustrated after the argument, which is pretty funny. I think we were texting back and forth. And then I threw on SPN and Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman were arguing. And I was like, that's just what I was doing at the pub.
Right.
And I went, oh, I can do a podcast.
I like that.
Had no idea what I was thinking. Got on, found this little thing here and went, oh, I'll buy that. So I bought him. Forgot all about it. Woke up in the morning going, why is there a sizable chunk of money out of my bank
A
account?
drunken purchase in the middle of
What's
the night.
going on here? So then it was flat out after that. It turned up and I plugged it in. I spoke through the microphone once and then never used it again until now.
So Gumpy's referring to this podcast recorder that we are using, and we thought, look, it's isolation. It's a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of podcasts coming out, and at the end of the day, though, they've all come from somewhere, and they're god awful podcasts already out there. Fucking may as well chuck our hat in
Yep.
as well.
Exactly.
And that's basically where it came from. I've been told that I should do a podcast because it's kind of the trajectory of a comedian ever since. Yeah, it's a good way to test material, but very rarely do comics get on and talk about a topic. They get on and they
That's
want
true.
to.
They
They just
just
talk
riff,
about
let's
themselves,
go.
and
Yeah.
that's fine. But I get to do that anyway. So
Yeah.
I thought, no, this is too good an opportunity. I've been gifted this amazing bit of gear, and we're going to have a crack at it. And plus, we've got a lot of roots within the. We've got a lot of connections.
Not as many lately.
No, within the football community, definitely all over Western Australia. Fuck it, let's get into the footy, mate.
Get into it.
Where did you play the majority of your football?
Senior football, most of it was at North Fremantle Footy Club in obviously Fremantle.
Oh, I haven't heard the name of that team for years.
Yeah. A long time down there, probably a decade down there from Colts, so from under 18s all the way through to seniors.
Now, in your experience, is that a rare thing to be like a one-team player, like all through your juniors? Because I played so many different clubs.
So juniors was separate up to under 17s. That was at South Coogee, which was down a bit further south. And then once you finish at under 17s, you go into your Colts, and most guys once you start there, you will stay there the whole time. A lot of guys, because there's so many teams at North Fremantle as well. There's 5 senior teams when I was there. So if you were good enough, you went up to the 1s. If you weren't good enough, you still stayed at the club and you went and played 4s and 5s or 3s and 4s or whatever it was.
That's hilarious. So I've actually, played, pretty much started in the East Kimberley in Kununurra. Went down to Carnarvon, Perth, Tom Price, even played some time up everywhere. I've played in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. I've played in Queensland. I've played in Sydney. A lot of moving around, and it was embarrassing while we were packing the bags to move here because I found my bag full of all my old Guernseys.
Oh, right.
And the amount of different teams, I was like, wow, mate, it's like I have a commitment issue or something like that. But it was the common ground. Like if you moved to a new town and you needed somewhere, you needed to make mates, you needed to find work,
Correct.
all that sort of stuff. The footy club.
Yep.
And so that's kind of with the theme of this particular show is that along with a lot of commonalities within a lot of football clubs around the country, every club's got a local legend.
That's right.
So I thought I'd maybe kick it off with maybe one of the ones that stuck out to me. I played at Nollamara.
Played against Nallamara.
Yeah, a few people remember them for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I think I have a nose broken against them.
It's crazy when you're on that team. I remember thinking, we're not that rough.
Yeah.
But then watch it watch it later, like, oh boy.
I'll tell you now, they were rough, mate.
Mate, nothing's worse though than being on a team where I always like to feel like I'm the good guy.
Yeah.
Nothing's worse than when your teammate lets you down and does something horrible. Like, have you ever been in that situation?
Not really, not that bad. I did have a funny Nallamara story. One of the boys, it was back when coloured boots first came out, and this guy Dan,
That was a thing. Yeah.
He played Colts, and the Rezzies were short, so he went up and played Rezzies. He's wearing bright red boots against Nallamara. Snaps one from the pocket. It's a beautiful snap straight through, and as he's celebrating, someone walks up, bang, cleans him up, out cold, and then yells at him for his boots while he's knocked out.
Right.
And I was like, all right, we're in a good spot here.
I mean, the sequencing's out, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy the stuff that happens. I played a season or two at Kingsway Football Club.
Yep.
And fuck it. I don't know who's going to hear this, so we might as well drop the names of the clubs. But you know what? That's one of the few times I can actually specifically remember not enjoying my footy.
Yeah.
Because I didn't click
Yeah.
with the people there, which is different.
That's a strange one. I've never had that. That would have been real strange.
It is odd because, generally footy just nullifies everything.
That's right.
But I've never played at a club where I just didn't have anything. Don't get me wrong, I was always the odd one out.
Yeah.
At every club I ever played at. I really was. I was too black for some. I wasn't black enough. I definitely wasn't black enough.
Right in the middle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And but yeah, Kingsway just had a really different mentality to what I was used to. And just the thuggery, I wasn't a fan.
Nah.
And it was I'm glad that at least I experienced it. At least I know that's not what that's why it's kind of nice when you do find a club where you do where you do join, because I get that now. I've got maybe 3 of all the years I've played football all over the country. I think I've got like 4 mates
Yeah.
that I'll footy mates that
Yeah.
I would always just hang with.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. I imagine you've got quite a few.
Yeah, there's a few around. Obviously in WA there's a lot. It's actually really funny. When I moved over here, I started playing down at Burleigh. And a guy I played with at North Fremantle, I didn't even know was living on the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
Was at training when I turned up, rolling up. And then we just looked at each other and started laughing. We're like, are you kidding me? I hadn't seen each other in over a decade. Yeah, it was
that
insane.
totally happens.
Yeah.
There are guys that you play Colts with at a state level or something, like once you hang out for a month
Yeah.
and then run into each other on the other side
That's
of the
right.
world. Like crazy. Like we'll talk about our connection to the Newman Football Club.
Yeah.
We may as well at some point. But I mean, even I wore a premiership jumper. I don't even know if it was the one I played in. Anyway, we'll get to that. But I was in Munich for the Oktoberfest, and somebody who played against the Newman Tigers recognized the Guernsey I was
way.
wearing. Yeah. It was hilarious. Like it's but then again, Aussies are parasites. We're everywhere. We're all
Anywhere
over.
in Europe,
all
you're
over the
running with
planet.
someone. Yeah.
But yeah, if you wearing a Pilbara Football Club and having
And
somebody
someone pulls you up.
that's pretty cool. So
That's cool.
it's Craig here. I am talking with Gump. And I actually, look, everyone calls me Quarters when it comes to footy.
Yeah.
And it was weird. I forgot your name. I forgot your real name.
You tried Corey.
I
was
did.
wrong.
Look, I knew there was a C in there. I knew there was a C and an R somewhere. But isn't that's another thing too? The amount of people that don't get referred to by their real names at football clubs.
Well, I won. I think it was a third or second best and fairest one season for the reserves at North Fremantle, and they said third best and fairest this year is Luke Carr, and one person clapped. It was my dad. I'd been at the club for about 7 years.
Right.
Then I stood up and everyone goes, "Oh, it's Gumps," and then the whole crowd started clapping. No one knew who this Luke Carr was at all when they read the name out.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that sort of stuff. This is cool. This is
Yeah,
actually
going well.
But I knew this would work. I knew this would happen because the amount of times we would just chill. We did touch on the Pilbara for a little
Yep.
bit, but might as well get back to it because we met at the Newman Tigers Football Club.
Correct.
And how did you get roped in? Because I was literally in town for a week and I went down to the footy oval. Part of me knows the routine. Like if you don't
Yeah.
know anyone, go down to the footy oval
That's a go. Yeah.
and just have a kick. And sure enough, I believe it was Scotty. Oh, I can't remember his last name. See, I'm terrible with names. Big fella. That's
Scotty.
Yeah, he came and recruited me. Got a few stories about him, but I probably shouldn't
Yeah.
repeat those ones.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know what's gonna, but
know he's listening.
what's gonna take. But yeah, I just got called. Hey, if you got a team or you're training, I literally been there for a few days.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was weird. My experience from them was just great. Everyone's, where are you working? What are you doing? Looking
It was a
after
great
you,
spot.
and just a great club.
Yeah.
I had no idea about anybody's reputations. I didn't know about
It's
anybody's.
probably a good thing.
Yeah, man. I didn't know about any rivalries with towns. Like there were, so to paint a picture for this club we played at in a small Pilbara town, Tom Price, it's about 10,000 people now.
Yeah. Back
But
then
we
it
were
would've been.
playing during the boom, so it would have fluctuated between 10 to 15,000 people.
Tom Price?
Oh, my
Newman-
bad.
Newman
My
would
bad.
have.
Newman. Did I say Tom Price?
Yeah, Newman.
My
would
bad.
have.
Sorry, Newman. And like 100 Ks off. Fuck off. Give me a break. But we're at the Tigers in Newman, and Lisa Tom Price again, and so we have 4 teams based around the one oval.
That was the weirdest part for me.
Yeah, have you ever seen that before?
Training half court's what got me. Only having half
Yeah,
the
we
ground.
did.
Only having half the ground to train in.
That's totally correct.
That was the hardest thing for me to adjust to.
So we had Saints, we had
Saints.
Towns. Wait,
No, Pioneers and Centrals.
Centrals. So I said Towns. I'm thinking Kalgoorlie. My
Yeah.
bad. See, I played
Played
for
everywhere.
too many bloody.
You don't like to
Ah,
do it.
it's all merged into one. But yeah, Centrals, Pioneers, Saints, and the Tigers.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, it depends how you look at it, but you got the Pioneers, who was everybody's punching bag.
Yeah.
School
Yeah.
teachers and
Cops.
cops, school
Yeah.
teachers and cops. You had the Saints, which were, well, were they the powerhouse? You'd think so by their club rooms, wouldn't you?
I think they were before that little dynasty we were a part of. I think they were.
Yeah, fair enough.
I
fair
think
enough.
they might have been.
Yeah, and they acted like it.
Oh, didn't they?
They did. But then there was Centrals, who were like
We were always friendly with Centrals.
they were. Well, I was
Until that time, yeah.
that time that
I wasn't there.
yeah.
Probably a name you shouldn't say either.
Yeah, no, fuck Nathan Carroll. Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him. But yeah, it was weird. It was a weird relationship because a lot of us would work together and then
That was
play
a weird
footy
thing.
against each other.
And you played each other every 3 weeks, so
Yeah, but as far as standard,
wasn't bad.
it's pretty damn good.
Wasn't bad.
It's pretty damn good. So yeah, just to give you an idea, it was a very, very secluded town, 1,200 kilometres north of Perth. 4 teams around the one oval. Everybody working for either the same company or rival companies. You've all seen each other in
All on the same job site, though. We're all on the same mine site.
Yeah, you see each other in your reflective clothes.
Yeah, that's
at
right.
some point, and it was pretty intense. But I was saying to Gump before we started recording this, I legitimately can't remember who I was working for sometimes because footy was what was getting me through.
Yeah, for sure.
Those stints, and that was some of the easiest mining time. I was an operator for something like 4 or 5 years in Newman, and footy was what was getting me through.
I was the same.
Yeah.
I started off at 2 weeks on, 1 week off. I ended up going full time and living up there.
Could you imagine pulling a 12-hour shift after a game now?
That was crazy. The fact that BHP would give us time off to go play footy and then expect us to go back and work
Yes.
that night.
Oh, wasn't it great when your legs would seize up while on
See,
the
I was
job?
good. I was on fixed plan, so I could just go hide and go for a sleep in the
Nice.
room somewhere. You were in a truck. You couldn't do anything.
I was very lucky that I can remember a couple of times I was working on smaller sites and bigger sites, and just because you said you played footy, I think we were coming to the end of that era where the companies and the football clubs had an agreement and it was cool.
It was really good, yeah.
I think we were kind of at the
We're the
end of
last
that
of
because
it,
there
yeah.
was a time, legit, your boss would come out and be like, "Oh, hey, you're supposed to knock off. You got to go play footy."
Yeah.
Whereas towards our time, it was you kind of had to be a bit tricky with
Yep.
the leave. You had to negotiate and have a good rapport.
You only had 3 hours sports leave, I think they give you, so you had to be real tight on when you left, to say, because you had to come back, and
Yeah, and then I can't imagine that's still the case now.
I don't think that'll be the case at all.
Yeah.
No way.
There were a few infamous moments. I feel like I need to own up to a couple.
Glad you are.
Oh, you're talking about the worst thing I ever did.
Yeah, we'll get to that as well.
No, I was talking about the time there was a flood. There was a cyclone that hit Newman and everybody got locked down, and I decided to not go to the training and went and got shit-faced at the Tigers. Just as the bus of my work colleagues drove past the club, I walk out the front and wave to the bus.
Smart play.
Clearly drunk.
Smart play.
And my boss, Shane, who was a Tigers player, I won't say his last name, but Shane saw me, covered his face and said, "Go back in the club."
Get in the club.
Oh my God, I should have been shot for that.
But I feel like up there, that kind of stuff was kind of, it's all right.
I have to admit, they gave you more street cred.
Definitely.
There was
But it was
no-
also like, boss will just look at you and go, righto. Like, you're not coming to work, you may as well keep drinking.
For,
Like,
for anyone that has no idea about what we're talking about, working in the Pilbara for mines, in the mining industry, cyclones hit the Pilbara hard. So you can be up there, all intentions to work for 2-3 weeks at a time. When a cyclone comes in, you're not going anywhere.
you are locked.
And so everyone crying about isolation now,
Yeah.
get fucked.
Try being in a donga for 3 days with someone delivering you 2 sandwiches a day.
Yeah, next to a woman you've more than likely slept with.
Yep, that happens.
and everyone else. But yeah, it was, God, that was a crazy time, man. I'm so glad I did it younger,
Oh, yeah.
working in the mines younger.
Couldn't do it now.
Like I'm 38, you're
37 this year.
37, yeah. And yeah, that weird period in the late, like mid 2005 onwards was just insane in Western Australia in the mining industry. And playing footy was what kind of kept us.
Yeah, it kept me going.
Yeah, and in good nick.
Yeah,
Like,
funnily enough,
because-
because I trained a lot.
you
Didn't train a lot at all.
didn't need to. 'Cause you would turn up. I swear I smelled Bundy on you a few times, and you would just
That would happen.
and you could just tap. Just
Oh, being a ruckman in a small town like that, it's actually really easy because it's such a specialised role. To have 4 good ones up there is pretty much impossible. So to stand out was pretty easy. But it was fun. I got roped into playing I had no intentions of playing when I got up there. I was actually done with footy. I'd had a gutful.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Completely had a gutful. I was done. I walked in the office. Obviously, a lot of electricians played at Tigers, and I walked in. I was 6'4", and Robbie Ryan hit me up. He goes, "You play footy?" First thing he ever said to me, I said, "Yeah, I used to." Used to. I said that straight away. He goes, "You're gonna play again?" And then within 2 weeks, I was down there.
That's
playing.
amazing because you didn't miss a step. I didn't know there was a gap. I actually hadn't played for about 5 years myself before then because just you couldn't. Not in the mines.
When you're doing FIFO. But I come off a season. I finished the season at North Fremantle, and I was like, "That's it. I'm done. I think I've had enough." But that Newman footy was probably the most fun footy I've ever had, I reckon.
It was weird. It was so weird to be that tight, and it meant a lot to the people, as it does for a lot of small towns. And that was where our connection happened. That's where we met. We played in the small country league and hit it off and won. Wow, I won one premiership out of 3.
I won one as well.
And it's weird because we were present for all 3.
Present for all 3.
So
no, 09 I wasn't present. I turned up the day after, if you remember.
I do remember the roof coming off.
I was working
when
for another
Gump came in.
I was working for another company. I flew in the day after the grand final. So I said to the boys, as we were heading out to another site, I said, "Just let me call in and see these guys quickly." And rolled in for about an hour. I said, "G'day."
Amazing. Yep. And I do remember that. We were hooking into probably the roughest grand final celebrations. God, it got
there
feral.
Was some carnage when I rolled in there.
It got feral after that. But when you came in, only because of your personality, your contribution, all that sort of stuff, and it just lit up. And I moved. So for the 3 premierships I was present for at the Tigers, I missed the first one because 2 weeks before the grand final, I moved to New South Wales for a woman, which was a great investment.
Because you were back by the next season. That worked out real well, Craig.
I think I was actually back at the start of preseason.
Probably
yeah. In Great Neck.
Didn't do any, but I was there for it.
That's right. And the first season I left for a stupid mistake. Second time I was suspended because 2 weeks out from the grand final. It was
the week before. No, we had the week off.
No, I was suspended for 2 weeks. So something like 2 weeks out from the grand final. And
because we were trying to get your sentence halved and we couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it for us.
Yeah. And yet then I hear so much worse stories. We might as well break this down. So basically, I got suspended for punching, and I completely did it, and I was completely in the wrong. And first time I ever been suspended in my life, and I was completely in the wrong.
I think we need to backtrack a little bit before that, though, because about 4 weeks before that, you and I were so pumped up because we were dominating at the time, our team, and we were so pumped up it was going to be our first senior.
No!
We wouldn't stop talking that this is both of our first senior premiership wins that we're going to take out. Then you got suspended 2 weeks later. No more Craig.
I completely forgot about that. I was fit. I was happy. I was really enjoying my footy. And the bottom line, I hit someone who did not deserve it. Was nowhere near it. But apparently, well, look, I know what happened. Something hit me. And I had a cut in my eye, and I just hit the nearest thing. I hit the first thing. And I've never done that, ever.
It was so out of character. Everyone was kind of in shock going, why has he done that?
I've never done it before, but I did freak out a little, and I hit the complete wrong person. And irony, right? And you know what? There's this. It was a weird situation because I went very selfishly to the tribunal, thinking, he's going to say nothing happened. He goes there to make sure I get suspended.
Was it someone from the Saints that you hit?
No, it was someone from Pioneers. So the game meant nothing.
They couldn't make finals.
They couldn't make finals. We were set. Had a great season. It's ours to win. I go and do that. It was completely stupid. And he turns up to the tribunal to make sure I get suspended. And it was funny, like in retrospect now, because I end up seeing this guy later, like in another mindset. Anyway, we'll get to that. But you know how when you go to the tribunal and you're kind of like, I've only ever been once, and it was the worst thing I've ever done. And when we went there, they were kind of hoping he'd turn up and it'd be okay. It wasn't that bad a hit. He turns up, he looks like he'd been in a car crash. Bro, apparently I shattered his face.
Really?
Yeah, two black eyes, busted nose. It did not look good at all. And I feel terrible smiling, but I got everything I deserved. I missed the grand final. all that sort of stuff. But there was a little part of me don't get me wrong, for a couple of weeks, I was really selfish. Like, this dude, he's going to bail me out. You know,
Yeah.
you're supposed to go, but in retrospect, fuck me. I didn't deserve
How
it.
much did your heart sink when you first saw his face? You would have known straight then you weren't playing a grand final.
Oh, I didn't know what to expect. I honestly didn't know what to expect because I'd never been to the tribunal before.
Yeah.
And going in, I'm getting pep talks from all these fucking assholes who are like, man, for real, I shot a bloke and I got off.
Yeah.
You know, all these horrible
I
stories.
think I might have given you a couple of those stories.
And everybody's telling me like, oh yeah, no, you'll be fine. They go, slack up here. There was a few dodgy things that happened. For real, the umpire didn't see it. Still gave a testimony. Dodgy thing. Don't get me wrong. I am completely in the wrong. I deserve to get suspended, but some dodgy shit happened.
Look, while those umpires were great and they kept the game going, I think there was only 2 in the town, so they had to they had to umpire. While they were great and they kept the game going, geez, they were useless at the job.
You don't like umpires, though, Gump.
I don't at all, but they were real bad. They were really bad. It was rough.
They do keep the competition going.
Yeah.
They really do.
It was great that they were there, but the comp would have died without them, obviously.
But he's shaking his head while he says it. He pays him a compliment, but doesn't even believe himself.
That's exactly what happened, yeah.
But so I got suspended for what was going to be my first grand final, one we would have shared. But I celebrated like I was there. That was a great game. We were down for most of that against the Saints. We were down for most of that.
Nah.
Yeah. No, not 8. The 9. The one I got suspended for.
I didn't. No, you were suspended for 8. That's when I played. You won 9. I won 8. You won 9.
Right. Is that correct? Because I know I was watching. I was there.
You were watching 2008.
Yeah. But we were down. We were down at 3/4 time. No, halftime. We were down at halftime.
Yeah, and then we rolled them up in the second half.
We did. I actually can remember. I'm only going to talk myself.
I don't think you can remember because you ran up to me straight after the game and you stunk a booze.
No, what? I mean, possibly.
You'd enjoyed a cutler.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that. But I do specifically remember going in at halftime and revenues up.
Oh yeah, that come in
because you of all the people. So basically, we were down. Our coach at the time, not the most inspirational talker.
Put it that way.
Yeah, good intentions. But some people, they just have a rhythm.
They do.
But basically, yeah, I felt horrible that I let everyone down. So we were down. I just revved everybody up in a bit of a circle. And the one person I can remember staring at me more terrifying was you. I remember you being like, "Pop, like, you got to kill someone." It was great. But it was a great comeback. We watched it all back the next day. It was and I celebrated like I'd played.
I think we also got to point out, 08 when I played, we did have a massive unfair advantage.
Which was that?
Well, we had ex-Waffle players. Our centre half forward was averaging about 8 goals a game. PJ,
Yeah.
It was a state amateur rep. We really flooded our team and took resources away from the other 3 sides.
This is mining money. This is what happens.
That's what happens. Yeah,
this is what happens. But that's the sort of stuff that happens in country towns. Like
that's right.
Playing around. Here we go. I played in another league, Southern Cross. And Southern Cross, I played out there for a season. Fuck.
You played in some rough joints,
mate. But them farmers, they got some money.
Oh yeah,
they got some. They were again ex-Waffle, ex-AFL.
Yeah,
some people just rocking up. You're like. Yeah. Dude, do you work out here?
Like, nah. Train. They get given a hire car and out they go every Sunday morning.
Mate, my brother-in-law was one of those guys. Greg Counselor. I'm not going to say my brother-in-law got no work ethic on the field, but the man can make just magic happen.
Yeah.
And it's annoying as fuck because I got to work for everything.
I was about to say, you're the opposite.
Fair call.
You're like the most least Aboriginal player I've played with.
I don't know how to take that. I mean, I am a bit of a steamroller. I don't dance around.
Nah, you're not.
But yes.
No Cyril Rioli, let's put it that way.
I'm just trying to think, is there a black equivalent to someone? Here we go. Here's somebody who always said I always like that when Mickey O'Loughlin said, I hate it when people regarded what I did as magic. Like I worked really hard to get there.
Yeah.
I really like that. I always took that. And it was, again, still not as flash.
It was the golfer that said, they said, oh, that was a lucky shot. And he goes, yeah, the more I practice, the luckier I am.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, that's my history with the Tigers. That's me and Gump's history. Well, that's a part of it.
Yeah.
Shit, could you imagine if we actually had two other Tiger people on here?
Oh, not happening.
But yeah, well, this is good. We're just turning along. So we've actually gone through our history. We are talking about footy legends, and there's a few. There's a few at the Tigers in particular. The Carrolls,
Casey.
How about the Parksies? Like there's
Parksies.
family. It's a bit of a family. I mean, but a lot of clubs have got a lineage, a family lineage, and it's just nice to see that maintained. I have to admit, Parksy. I'm trying to remember. Is he Michael Parksy that we played with?
David Parks.
David
Parks.
I've never seen a man who's never done a sit-up in his life dominate.
Such core strength.
With no knee. With such core strength. Yeah.
Playing with a broken hand.
His knees are held together with tape and can just hit it from anywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
One of the most accurate kicks I've played with.
Yeah, he looks like he doesn't have a skeleton. That's how much form.
That's rough.
That's how much.
That's rough.
That's how much that's how much shape his body's got. But oh my god, that man can play. And,
Great footballer.
Yeah, and every club's got legends like that.
Yeah.
And I guess just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, what we want to try and talk about. I guess I'll go first. It's from Nollamara. My playing days, I was in and out of East Perth for 1 year. Couldn't get a game. I didn't go to Marist.
Yeah.
One of those. It's so man. There's some shit you don't know until you get into the waffle level.
Right.
That it really does depend on what school you go to.
Schools are massive.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And too many recruits come out of Mirrabooka Senior High School, except who was that redheaded Darren dude out of Essendon? Oh, my Bennett Bowles.
Oh, Bestwick? No.
Yeah, that guy.
Something Wick?
Something Wick.
Besto?
No. He's definitely from Perth and he played for Geelong.
He did
Barwick,
too, yeah.
Buick. Darren Buick.
We got
Darren Buick, the Essendon redhead, was the only recruit from my school.
Really?
Yep, only one. Only one. And, he wasn't bad. He'd pop up every now and then and run 50 metres and kick a goal.
I came out of Hammy. I had Glenn Jakovic, Andy Cracker.
Wow.
Peter Sumich come out of there, I think. Yeah. We had a good
Nice.
lineup.
Was there a veggie patch nearby?
Yeah, it's Spearwood. Nothing but market gardeners. Nothing but market gardeners, mate.
Nice.
Fishermen and market gardeners. That's my lineage.
That was a bit racist, Craig, but I can do that.
That's a bit
So
Can you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Black privilege.
Yeah, well, I have so little. And but basically, what I loved about Nollamara, again, it's one of those clubs where a lot of the players can't afford their registration, which is one thing, but then there's irresponsible parents. They can afford 2 cartons of beer, but they won't pay for their kids' registration, shit like that. But it's the managers and the coaches that make those clubs exist.
Absolutely.
Brian Taylor, I can remember, was my team manager, my coach, the president. He did everything. That man was an absolute legend of the Nollamara Football Club. I'll talk about him maybe another time. But my favourite, I guess, looking for random stories, one of the ones that stuck out for me was the one time I played seniors for Nollamara. Couldn't get a game at East Perth. I was a bit dishevelled. I was just pissed off with everything. Yep. And went and played seniors at Nollamara, which was just rough. This is people smoking in the change rooms.
Yeah.
This is I'm not that old, but this is like early 2000s and shit's just crazy. Next minute, we need a player to come into the seniors, and they're like, the room is getting around. You can hear. I've never played with half of these people, but everybody's talking in the change rooms with each other, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear Harley's coming down? Harley's coming. Oh my God, Harley's coming down." So Nollamara, Balga, Girraween, Kandula, all these places are connected.
Yeah.
And I heard about this guy who's apparently the toughest, scariest. I never learned his full name. And turns out he's a preacher. He's a priest.
Yeah, right.
And his nickname was Harley because he's a Catholic priest or a Presbyterian, one of them fuckers. And he turns up on a Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
And so a priest turns up on a Harley Davidson.
I'm picturing full robes.
Mate, leather jacket and a handlebar mustache.
Perfect.
And, light-skinned black fella like me, but just an older fella, bit balding. He gets off, doesn't look like anything to him. All right? Then he gets in the change room, you take that leather jacket off. Fuck.
Ripped. He
would have been close. He would have been 40-odd that game.
Yep.
And battered body, but quiet, like like, hello, how you doing?
Yeah, righto.
Oh, so you're the young fella? Like, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. He wasn't one of those priests. Sorry. That was
I
all.
didn't even go there.
That was all.
That's your comedian brain going there.
Sorry, I was just paying Harley. But for real, the legend around this dude, I'd never seen him before. I'd never heard of him before. But the way the whole change room was like, oh, they were really excited to see him turn up. So I'm skinny, I'm little, I'm in the middle, I'm fit. And I just run amok in, well, that would have been B grade.
Back then, yeah.
B grade. Down in a local football club, and we're playing. Oh, every club was richer than us. I was going to say the rich club. Every club was richer than us. Doesn't matter. But basically, I've never seen older blokes on the opposite team recognize someone and shit themselves.
Oh, really?
So apparently, before Harley took the club, he was a bad motherfucker. And man, the Nolamara Guernsey is particularly ugly. It's green at the
Green
bottom,
and black,
red at the
wasn't it?
top, green and red.
Green and red, yeah.
And he chucks it on the guns on this 40-year-old
Really?
priest, and but wiry, but it's all I'm just trying to think.
It's like sinew,
Kudos-
not muscle.
Kudafides, like
No,
that
That's
level.
big.
You reckon?
Kuda's massive, mate.
He is, but it's not. I guess I'm thinking more lean. Like, there's no doubt it's muscle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's okay. Fair enough. He doesn't have the shoulder, but he's
Kuda's huge.
But the guns, like, there's no fat on this man.
Yeah.
It's all muscle. And I was like, he's a priest. How rough could he be? And B grade amateurs in Perth is rough.
Yeah, real rough.
But then just to hear this man, I could hear him coming when I'm trailing the ball, and there's someone who's getting ready to clamp down and tackle me. I see this whoosh, turn around, and Harley's taking out 3 blows, and he's just smashed them. Pointed at me and just waves his arms. Just keep going. And it was amazing. It was amazing, and we played the game. It was brilliant. Just watching him dominate. Nothing dirty, but I've never seen anything so hard.
Hard player.
End of the game, just gets changed, gets on his Harley,
Go
takes
on.
off. That's
No,
it.
here's nothing.
That's it.
Just
And-
a myth.
but I got the legend. I got it.
That's just a myth to roll it in. Playing his game, roll him back
Don't
out.
know where he is. I only ever played with him
Never
once.
saw him again?
But they brought
One time only.
that was it. I was like, this is bloke play once a year, and everyone still knows who he is.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
That's great.
But yeah, Harley from the Nolamara Football Club would be my first submission.
That's a great
for a
call.
local legend. How
That's
about
a
you,
great
Gump?
call. Mate, I haven't actually thought about it, to be honest.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad we prepared. I'm glad we
yeah, I
prepared.
prepared really well for this. I did ask you today, do I need anything? You said no, so it's up to you.
I also wrote, we're also in the name of the show. But honestly, again, there's no pressure, but if
Look,
you can think of one.
Oh, there was. I'll actually go back as far as juniors. Played with a guy called Moose. Yeah, please. And Moose was he was big. He was a bigger kid. You know, probably under 17s, maybe 100 kilo solid.
Wait, fuck off.
No. There's out of Fremantle, everyone with the last name Henwood gets called Moose. So all the cousins, they're all called Moose. So they all come together. Anyway, Moose decided he was going to start singing in a death metal band. And he was actually quite good. He opened up for some big death metal bands. I don't know, Cannibal Corpse or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, Moose's trick, which is my favourite trick of all time on the footy field, when he's chasing someone down the wing, he'd scream at him in a death metal voice. So you think, you know those kids you played against that were 17 that were bigger than everyone? So you got that kid screaming death metal, chasing other small kids, and you watch these kids handball the ball out of bounds just to get away from him and then run back inside.
Oh my God.
He's like, roar, and just screaming at these kids. And it was so loud. Like, our footy over, there was 2 footy overs. The real young kids will play one, older kids will play the other, and the other game would stop sometimes if you're that loud. It was amazing.
That's
Old Moose.
amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen Moose probably since under 17s footy. I never saw him again. I heard his band went all right for a bit, and then, never saw him again.
Here's a question. Do you know his real name?
I know his last name's Henwood because all the Henwoods are called Moose. That's it.
That's amazing. Junior footy, God. Isn't that crazy? And the amount of young legends there would be
Oh, yeah, for sure.
that never made it.
Oh, so many.
So many.
So many.
There was I remember getting torched. I'm sure everybody will be able to tell me who his name was, but his name was Digger, which is problematic because he was black as hell. And other people would take advantage of that.
Swap a letter out, you think?
Yeah, that was problematic. But yeah, I remember getting torched by this kid, which was crazy. So probably the best player I ever played with that never made it was a guy named Paul Drury, and it kills me to say it because he's an asshole. But he's a good mate of mine. We grew up all these years together, went to school together. Paul Drury played for Claremont, legit, like just, but his collarbones are made of styrofoam, like they would break.
Jeez, that's a bad one to keep breaking too.
Yeah. That was definitely his thing. It was the injuries because Paul was legit. He could have absolutely made it.
Yeah, right.
But physically, just inferior, as they say.
Yep.
But
I think I know that feeling.
Yeah. So I'm getting torched by this kid. I had to think of his name, Digger. I'm getting torched by him because I wasn't a tagger. It wasn't really my role.
Yeah.
But all excuses aside, Paul goes on him for 3 minutes, takes him out of the game. Yeah, it was amazing. The guy cracked it. Yeah. And so I always had to respect that. And I think, you know what is a huge part, though? Getting older. Maybe I could do it when I was younger, but we're able to admit, this guy, I'm probably not up for this, or when you blindly just think, I can beat everyone, I feel like that maybe holds you back.
It does for sure, definitely.
But I mean, you're a fairly confident footballer yourself.
I think you got to be confident when you're on the field. When I played with you, it was a lot easier to be confident in a small country town than it was trying to crack the A grade amateur level in Perth, in Fremantle, around that area. So when I got up there, the confidence level obviously went through the roof a bit more.
Yeah, Freo is a fascinating place for its football culture.
It's amazing, it's amazing.
And a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people don't understand.
It's war. Like there's still today. There's still battle lines between South Fremantle and East Fremantle. Like they still get probably the biggest crowds for the derbies. I'd say.
Yeah.
That might only be a couple of thousand these days. But I remember being a kid, South Fremantle Oval, 15,000, 20,000 people packing it out to go watch South Fremantle versus East Fremantle. It was pretty impressive.
All right. We are in a weird time too. Really
crazy. We're living in a movie. It feels like a kind of a plot to a movie at the moment.
But how's this whole isolation thing been? Like, I have to admit, footy's been what I've missed the most.
Footy and pubs. Definitely missed the pub. Footy at the pub even more. But my work hasn't stopped or anything, so it's been really easy for me.
Yeah.
A lot harder for a lot of other people. But missing footy, that's the big one. But
what do you do Thursday evening to Sunday afternoon in the evenings?
I've been punting a lot on horses just to get any kind of sport. It's good to have the UFC back the last couple of weeks. There's a bit more sport on to watch. But what I got excited about today, I had a look at I was having a look at the fixtures for all the footy codes coming back and things like that. So AFL's back, NRL's back, the NBA is going to come back. Once all they're done, the NFL's going to start. I'm a big NFL fan, so that's going to start straight away. So, and then cricket obviously as well. So I think NRL are playing their state of origin in November. So there's going to be footy all the way to November. I think halfway through October is...
I did see a very funny story about this will be, regardless of what happens, at least Fremantle will get to play in September this year.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that was pretty funny.
That's true. Well, the poor Fremantle, they're about to win some silverware with the women's team and then
got
shut down on them.
No, and I'm on board with the Fremantle women's.
Yeah.
A lot of, so I coached at Swan Districts for a few years and we got a bunch of girls playing there. And man,
they're on fire.
So close. Going through undefeated in AFLW.
That's what happens when you play for Freo.
How worked up do you get watching? Like I get too worked up watching AFLW because I know a lot of the girls. I love the footy, but there are dudes who will see me in a pub watching it and just be like, "What?"
It took a bit for me to get into it, to be honest.
Because it was scrappy the first 2 years.
Scrappy. I had a theory that they needed to shorten the field. I thought they just don't have the leg power to get down, but the last couple of years or last year, they've really stepped up.
I knew you would notice that. I knew you would pick up because a lot of people have no concept of how far the skills have come in a few seasons.
Oh, massive.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
And it's what I loved about coaching women is that, I think I've said this to you before, you tell them once and show them the correct way.
Yeah.
They'll do it like that forever.
That's right.
Whereas blokes will be like, sorry,
I've got my own joke.
My testicles are in my ears.
Well, the other thing is about that as well, because blokes have had so many coaches by the time they get to you. You think about it. They've been told to do something a different way by different coaches. So if it's been successful for them in the past from this coach, and then you tell them to do something else, they're going to tell you to go get fucked.
What a bastard child. I don't know who this kid is. I already fucking hate him.
Yeah.
But no, completely. That is such a good point.
Yeah.
And I did notice that coaching is that a lot of women just appreciated it when you spoke to them like people.
Yeah. Well, down at Burleigh, we got a women's team down there. Fully accepted. Everyone loves them. Like, they're great. Everyone calls them the girlos, and they get out there and they get amongst it, and they have come. So 2 years ago was the first year I got down there, and the way they played from then to this year, last season, I think they made the grand final or made the finals, and they went from not looking great. You go down and watch them and be a bit like, oh, what's actually going on here? To now, they're actually moving the ball well. They got structure. It's really impressive to watch.
I don't want to sound like one of those guys that, like, I was always supporting female sport. I knew nothing about it. But it is embarrassing to look back and see that the only professional option for a lot of women was lingerie gridiron.
Such a good sport, though. Such a great sport.
Man,
and those chicks are fucking athletes. Don't worry about that.
But it's embarrassing that they have to wear undies.
Oh, no.
That's embarrassing.
Oh, no.
And again, I'm not.
The funny thing is,
I'm all for titty.
Have you actually seen
Huge fan.
And like it shows their profession underneath, and some of them are like lawyers and doctors, and
they just wanted to play sport. That's so. I cringe a little bit. Again, I'm not super precious.
I am not complaining. I will never complain about that.
But and then you go to, like, the Australian one was very much a case of athletes just wanted to play.
Yeah.
Then you go to the States with their lingerie football. It's insane. It's fucking insane.
It is.
The brutality of it.
But the funny thing is, they've had professional women's sport at a high level for a long time over there. WNBA.
Definitely basketball.
Basketball. That's probably about it, actually, that I can think of. But yeah, they've had high level athletics. Their college teams.
Yeah, yep.
Their volleyball's very good.
Dude, I watched. I think it was the 2000 Olympics. I cringed again when I saw the Opals playing the US team.
Oh, we're wearing those fucking skin tights. God. Why were we the only team in the world? I think we wore them until like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Why are we wearing bodysuits?
Let's put our players in a condom and make them play
international level sport against the best in the world. And the Opals are a very good side.
They were, but they looked like strippers.
They did.
It was so embarrassing.
And when you've got Lauren Jackson, who's like fucking 6'8",
yeah,
all gangly, like she does not need to be in a bodysuit. Just throw in a singlet and shorts.
So cruel.
Hilarious.
I can't imagine the marketers. Hey, you know what's going to help us beat the USA? Camel toe.
It's what I never got. I was like, why has the girls not stepped up and gone, we're not doing this anymore? Like, it's just like the
could you imagine? But could you imagine trying to rock the boat at that level? Could you imagine trying to speak up?
You're just making it side.
Yeah.
Then you got to speak up about the uniform. Someone else is coming in.
Yeah. I couldn't even fathom it. I tried to point out someone was a prick at a local football club, and it didn't work out. So no, I totally get that. But that's it. Oh wow! So we made the leap to higher level sport.
Yeah.
We are in a weird place, though. Some could argue, as football lovers, we landed in one of the two best places to be, because 6 clubs have now relocated to the Gold Coast. They're going to be. We can't, but I mean, can't we?
I got super excited the other day when I found out about a week ago. I rang my mate. I'm like, hey, we've got high level footy. We've got the 2 West Australian teams, 2 South Australian teams, and they're all going to be based on the Gold Coast. I'm like, we can go. Midweek games they're going to have, everything. And he goes, dickhead, we can't go watch it. I was like, fuck.
I don't know. Like, we'll have to see, because 10 people here and there.
If they're allowed crowds, they're going to want to go back to their home state.
This is true.
For sure.
This is true, but not. I mean, the borders are closed.
Yeah, and WA ain't open.
Isn't that funny? Every other.
You understand it, and I get it. All my mates don't understand it. I'm like, man, WA hates the rest of Australia.
But
anything to have a dig and say, you can't come over here, they're going to take it.
I am finding that the resentment, though, towards New South Wales and Victoria from everywhere else is more.
Oh yeah,
is more. It's hilarious. I love the New South Wales Premier right now. It's like, open the borders. Everyone's going, fuck you.
You're the one with all the cases, you did.
Yeah, you're the one with that boat. It's no, it's a hilarious situation, but you're right. That is the ultimate cocktails now. We got.
Although they did say my mate did say they're talking about Suncorp for the NRL are going to allow 6,000 people in and spread them all out through.
What are they going to do with the other 2,000 tickets?
Yeah, that's right. For NRL, yeah, they're lucky to get 6,000 in any game. But the problem is at Carrara on the Gold Coast, say it's 10%, that's like 1,000 people. It doesn't sit that many people.
It's 25,000?
I think
Isn't
it's only
it?
16.
No!
I think it's 16.
I have to admit, I get it, the expansion. I know that rubs a lot of people. I can't believe the Gold Coast got a football club before Tassie. I don't agree
Ridiculous.
with that. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But
And one thing, you would never have been to a live sporting event here on the Gold Coast.
I haven't.
So, it's hilarious. I've been to watch the Titans play. A good friend of mine's a Parramatta Eels fan. It's an away game for the Titans. You turn up, everyone's wearing Parramatta Eel because everyone relocates to the Gold Coast. So everyone's already got a team when they get here. You go watch Collingwood play Gold Coast Suns, it's just black and white.
I was really confused about that. But when I moved here and when I spoke to people, it makes sense. The Gold Coast is a bunch of fishing villages. Sorry, a bunch of beach and fishing, surfing villages merged into this one entity.
That's right.
And now they're expected to have an identity to get behind this thing.
No sporting teams ever lasted there. Remember they tried to NBL tried to have a team here and it didn't last long.
NBL, multiple, whatever the soccer leagues were.
Oh yeah, they had that as well.
A couple of them.
I think the Titans is the second or third go around for the NRL team.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I get it. I want the Suns to succeed only because I feel like Queensland deserves two teams.
They're a lot more AFL orientated than you realise till you move here, for sure.
Yeah, geez, they've got the goods. They've got some great talent coming through. But I don't know where you'd base them. I don't know where you would base a second Queensland team. Brisbane's big enough.
You could probably just have two Brizzy sides, have the north and south, because that's a big thing in Brizzy's. Like,
oh my God, isn't it?
Like Perth.
And they talk about, you're going to be the right side of the river.
Yeah. Perth like that, though, as well.
Yeah.
We're always south of the river guys, and you guys were north of the river, and this is fucking joke.
Yeah, this is true. It's weird. People just want something to cling to.
That's what it is, yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know why I never took up that tribalism as much. Probably because I moved to places with so many different
You never
teams.
fucking anywhere at one spot, that's why.
No, that's probably it. But no, again, rather than liquidate the Gold Coast,
relocate.
Yeah,
But the thing is, I think their idea is, and this could work because they do have a lot of junior football teams, so they're waiting.
Gumps just started doing something I completely forgot he does. He hits his hand to make a point.
Yeah.
But I've just gone back to the bench. I've gone back to the bench at the Tigers Football Club where you would hit stuff until to make your point.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it, man.
Listen, I'm hitting things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of young guys coming up. So I think they're hoping the next generation of footy supporters coming through are going to be Gold Coast Suns fans.
Yeah.
But as a lot of people know, whoever your dad follows is usually who you follow.
That I totally agree with, to a point. Like, you can tell when somebody's been left to choose. And for kids, I agree with that theory, absolutely. But if you're a kid, you love your footy, it's generally who's winning premierships when you're 6. Whoever's winning the flag when you're 6, that's who you're going to go for. Unless
you're an absolute dickhead.
Why?
Collingwood won a premiership when I was 7.
yeah. But your dad goes to Collingwood, don't they?
No, that's actually a funny story. I probably should get that out before we go any further.
Yeah.
The old man lied to me my whole life. The old man went over. Old man was a very good footballer. Went over to Victoria for the under-16s. It was called the Teal Cup back then.
Yes.
First WA team to win it in the 60s at some point. Did get asked to stay there and train for Collingwood. That's where the truth stops. Told me he did, and ended up playing a game of football for him, and then he rung his old man. His old man said, get back to WA. Story I had until I was probably in my 20s. So I've followed Collingwood my whole life. When Freo came in, the old man started following Freeman. Like, I couldn't understand why. And then finally it came out that, no, they asked him to train. Then he rung his dad and he got sent back on a plane straight back to Perth. So he never actually went down to Collingwood and even had a training session with him. I was already too deep. I'm stuck with Collingwood.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah. That's such a good story. Man, isn't that cool?
Yep.
That's so weird. But at least you were aware of your dad's footy prowess. That's good.
Yeah, the old man, it's real funny Fremantle being such a small place. Walk down the street with my old man, and people would stop. And I didn't start playing footy till I was 14, 15 years old. My older brother never played football. We all played basketball. So my whole life, you're getting stopped in the street, guys speaking to your dad, and they'd look down to you when you're 5, 6 years old and say, do you know how good your old man was? So you always had it reminded. And then when I finally started playing football at 14, 15, whatever it was, to see like him spark up, like how excited he was that one of his sons is finally playing footy, because my brother played school footy, I think, and that was it. And and then next thing he was coaching and he was into it and he was right in, and he was a bloody genius when it came to footy. He was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I knew very little about my father's prowess. For all I knew, he never played. And then one day we're on the, now I'm saying the right town, we're on the Tom Price Town Oval. And I'm 12. I think I'm a bit of a gun. I think I won a couple of awards, like playing up in Tom Price. So it doesn't really matter.
Not participation awards like real ones.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I know what I'm talking about. An old boy who's never spoken to me about football ever, never gotten passionate about it. I can never remember him talking to me about it, ever. Walks out on the field, walking across the oval, I give him a wave, puts his hand up, I kick him the footy. Right foot, torpedo, 50-metre bomb, barefoot, and drops it. And then I was like, okay, cool.
Where'd that come
Go
from?
get the ball, kick it to him on the other side, other foot, same kick.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So my dad's actually ambidextrous,
Pretty talented.
and both feet barefoot.
He's hitting
And
some barrels.
turns out played at East Perth. That's where him and my mum met.
Oh, really? You played at East Perth?
Played league at East Perth.
Jesus, back in those days, so that was good waffle footy.
I don't even know if he had boots. Fuck. I don't.
I
know.
dare say if he played barefoot in the waffle, we would have heard about it.
But oh wow! So look, that's brought us. That's an hour of content. Dog noises.
Great.
Maybe. Fuck it. It's pretty good. Let's actually wind up with the AFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a little bit of a roundup.
Yeah.
So everyone's relocated. Season's going to kick off in about 3 weeks.
10th, I think, June, they said. 10th or 11th?
Oh, so
11th.
Okay, so 2 weeks.
They said
two and a bit weeks.
Collingwood, Richmond starting off on the 11th.
20 days. And we have no idea, but fuck, we're grateful it's back.
Oh, cannot wait. It's been killing me not being around.
Yeah. So what? Let's
It's
say
interesting,
let's
though. There's
let's
a
say
lot
we,
of interesting things coming of it.
So
I think the first one is like the list players aren't allowed to play reserves. I think is a massive change. So you think early in the season it's not going to be too big. Later in the season, trying to bring someone who hasn't played a match or whatever into a final series.
Yeah.
So you think about Toby Green last year getting suspended from GWS.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. He's a grub. And I love grubs. They're my favourite players. He's a grub. So he gets suspended. So imagine him getting suspended, how big that would have been if they had to bring in a player who's only played 3 games throughout the season and hasn't played any resis. That's a huge...
I feel like you're thinking pragmatically, absolutely. But holy shit, the AFL is just like, you could put a goat on the field. We don't give a fuck. We need
they need him out there.
we need 18 entities on the field
Yeah.
to make a game happen.
They just want bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're putting CrossFitters out there. These dudes are going to be staying fit however they can.
Yeah, but
it just won't be in a game.
But as you know, it doesn't matter how fit you are until you get in that game. It's not just physical, it's the mental, how fast the ball's zipping around, all that. The ball doesn't zip around that fast at training.
It's unprecedented. Somebody said that this premiership won't matter. I'm like, fucking...
I think it'll
there's
matter,
one
and I think it'll matter because I'm calling a team will come out of nowhere to win it.
Are you game enough to say who?
I don't know who. I think the Western Bulldogs will be right up there. But they came good at the end of last year, so it's not a big call. But
How much weight do you... So, actually just watched round 1 and 2. Sorry,
One.
it was only 1.
Yep.
That's right. Round 1, do you take anything out of any of that form?
not now.
No.
Not now, because your pre-season's out of your body. What have you been doing? I think they'll be able to train with one other person, so they've paired each other up and they're pushing each other. That doesn't do as much as the pre-season with the strength and conditioning and all that.
So disregard all form, and you're calling a dark horse.
I'm calling a dark horse because my thought process is there's going to be a team whoever it is, that are going to stay fit for the whole season.
That's where I was going to come in and say it'll have to be a powerhouse. It'll have to be a powerhouse club because they're the only ones that would be able to just keep everyone sharp as hell. It's going to be a powerhouse club.
If there's someone, it depends. It might come down to who's got the best strength and conditioning.
I don't want to say it. I never want to see it again. But it might be Hawthorn.
Hawthorn, Geelong.
Yeah,
Geelong.
because Hawthorn can be good. They go through.
Their good is good. Their bad's real bad.
Their good is good for very short periods, and if it's a shortened season,
that's a good point.
I hate it. I hate seeing it.
I don't want that.
I never want to see it. I've seen too many Hawthorn premierships.
But I honestly think, like obviously, West Coast, Collingwood, Richmond, Geelong are all going to be up there. But I just think there's going to be some team, some smoky, like Brisbane did last year.
Interesting. Oh, mate, I called Brisbane coming good.
I did too. About 2 years before.
I'm so glad it came through.
Yeah.
They just. That's what I love about being up here is it's subtle. It's not Melbourne.
No.
But God, they do. They love their footy and they know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any state with a Starcevic in it, it's going to be okay.
But no, I think Brisbane are good. You know, they've got a winning pedigree there. They've got that three-peat sitting there. They've still got all those old players coming down speaking to the guys, and they got,
They draft well. They draft really well.
Draft well. That's a big one. That's where your boys, West Coast, are really good.
Mate, we don't fuck around. When we...
Yeah, but you hide everyone.
Yeah, because we could.
You put them in Trinity Aquinas, they play school footy, they play one waffle game, we'll draft him at 3 and no one knows why.
And I will not be spoken to that way from a Collingwood supporter.
Hey.
Who actually, you know what, at least Collingwood's got a building process.
Yeah.
Carlton has been found out as the team that always just bought the best player. They did it for so long.
Brought the best player, got every number 1 draft pick and couldn't get out of the bottom 8.
No.
Crazy.
We could dig the boots into Carlton.
All day. All day, I'm happy to do it. You want to sit here to midnight? I'm happy to do it.
Happy to. But you know what? Let's cut our losses. That was fun.
That was fun.
We'll turn this into something. We'll throw it out to people, see what they think. We'll go from there.
Perfect. Thanks, mate. That was great.